The Kentucky Wildcats have never been on a walk like this. Ahead, a sellout crowd, the SEC East title on the line. Big Blue Nation hoping to send the Cats onto the SEC championship game for the first time. But to get to Atlanta, Kentucky must beat the defending SEC champs, 6th-ranked Georgia, a football Saturday unlike any other in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Here in the Bluegrass State, today it's the Dogs versus the Wildcats.
Let's go! We're just getting warmed up, just getting started, already fired up. Yeah, this party ain't nothing like it round here, going down out here. Get it warmed up and get it started. Get it in there! Touchdown! You need a good time, well I'll
Snell gets the call.
Who's setting it off? You know that's us. You already know we're getting warmed up. We're just getting warmed up.
He's gonna throw.
Touchdown! Kentucky! Over the shoulder catch, J.J. Holliman!
We're just getting warmed up.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS.
There has never been a football game with more on the line played in Lexington, Kentucky. And every one of the sellout crowd of 61,000 at Kroger Field knows it. We welcome you to the first of 2 top 10 matchups, the Home Depot SEC on CBS. First here in Lexington, 6th-ranked Georgia plays the 9th-ranked Wildcats of Kentucky for the SEC East title. Tonight, number 1 ranked Alabama versus number 3 LSU in Baton Rouge. The Tide can clinch the West. A Kentucky fan told me earlier today, this moment is a dream come true. The Kentucky Wildcats playing for an SEC East title, the number 9 ranked team in the country on their home field. Saturday in November with a view of Atlanta all the way to the national championship game in Santa Clara, California. Last Saturday in Jacksonville, Kirby Smart turned up. And then Mark Stoops in Missouri, he was all the way up. And then you flush it and move on and get ready for Georgia versus Kentucky. Both head coaches expect a very physical football game in front of a rocking crowd, and John Shrippen is among it.
Well, when you think about Kentucky, first thing that comes to mind, college hoops and horses. So how does this football team winning change all that? All you have to do is take a look at this student section. No longer can you just walk in and get a good seat. These kids here in the first row, they told me they lined up nearly 6 hours before kickoff. And if you think they only get hyped for basketball games, check this out.
The hardcore football fans who have waited so long for a moment like this around Kentucky are ready to see the Cats play the Dogs for a trip to the SEC championship game.
I'm jealous of those coaches dancing. Nothing like cutting a rug after victory, Aaron. There'll be somebody will be cutting a rug today.
I'm pretty sure AT can lift it pretty high, Rick, if need be after this one.
Those players should be happy that I'm not a coach, though. Might throw some backs out.
Georgia won the toss, deferred. Kentucky receives the opening kickoff. Holton will just let it sail through. So Rodrigo gets back to the touchback streak. Our Chick-fil-A starting lineups, and we begin on this side of the football with the Kentucky Wildcats and Terry Wilson. The sophomore from Oklahoma City began his college career as an Oregon Duck. Scott Frost and Mark Helfrich recruited him. Then everyone left Eugene. Terry ended up at junior college in Kansas, and he very frankly said, I hated it. I'm here now. That's all I can say. Touchdown Terry's got 8 total TDs this year for the Cats. Benny Snell Jr. in the backfield with him. Play action. Wilson. Deep shot on first down. That is caught for a first down on the edge.
So enter Benny Snell, a tough, physical, patient runner with outstanding vision who leads the SEC and is 10th in the nation with 117 yards a game.
And now Wilson to the outside. That's Bowden, and he is still on his feet, and he may have lost yardage. Forward progress will take it to the 40, bringing up your first third down against that Georgia defense.
Well, Georgia defensively, keep your eye on linebacker Monty Rice. He's Georgia's second leading tackler and was all over the field last week against Florida with 11 stops. Mel Tucker told us that Rice has a chance to be Roquan Smith-esque.
And how about the Georgia defense stepping up? First time they are tested on third down. A somewhat maligned Georgia front seven gets the stop.
Interesting play call there by offensive coordinator Eddie Grand, 3rd and 6. Not wanting to put the ball in Terry Wilson's hands, decides to run the ball with their bell cow, and Georgia does a great job up front.
Adam Anderson, true freshman, in there on the stop with Jonathan Ledbetter. Kirby Smart said they were going to play some of the younger linebackers, Anderson and Tyndall, and Anderson in there on the stop on third down. Mecole Hardman is back. Duffy's kick from the 40. Hardman grabs it at the 12. Slips to the first. Cats he sees. And here goes Mecole Hardman down the sideline. Across the 45. Across the 50-yard line. Hardman is wrestled down finally inside the 25-yard line. Mecole Hardman breaks it for 64.
Seems like it was a classic case of out-kicking your coverage. Just a beautiful punt. And this is the explosion that Mecole Hardman has seen all season long. Special teams does a good job. The skill set necessary to be good in the return game against punts is quickness, and then Hardman puts the speed on and gives his offense excellent field position to start this game.
Jake Fromm and the Georgia Bulldogs get it at the 23-yard line. Elijah Holyfield in the backfield with Fromm. Holyfield takes it, right side, slips through. Holyfield inside the 10. It is 1st and goal, Georgia. Edwards makes the stop. The Bulldogs have come out firing in Lexington.
Fromm has some legs and some mobility. Do they give him a two-way go by getting him outside the pocket, or will he throw the football to these extremely talented receivers?
One thing Fromm loves to do here is throw the fade, and we got a matchup down here to the bottom of the screen. Holloman matched up as a fade receiver. They can go over the top or back shoulder.
Fromm 3rd and goal, over the middle end zone, touchdown! Bulldogs, Noto holds it in, and Fromm on 3rd down, touchdown again.
Isaac Nada has been a go-to guy since the end of the first half last week against Florida, where he caught 4 balls in that clock drive right again to finish the half against the Gators. Beautiful effort here, shaking man-to-man coverage and giving Fromm a place to throw the ball.
A perfect start for Georgia. Hardman with a 64-yard return. Holyfield 3 carries to set him up. Nada into the end zone from Fromm. Rodrigo Blankenship is good. A 3 and out by the Cats in Georgia. Already 7 on the board. Fromm to Nada. Glory, glory to old Georgia. 7-0. Dogs. A 7-yard gain, longest yet for the Cats. Snell, right side again across the 50. Finally shoved down by Richard LeCount, the sophomore, is the Dogs' leading tackler.
Talked about the youth needing to step up, and we're seeing Brenton Cox have his opportunity here.
Snell motions out. Wilson perfect passing. Yes, it is. And here's Bowden. Bowden, nowhere to throw it, so he's going to try and run it, and there's nowhere to run it either. So you cross the 50 and you try a little trickery and nothing works for Kentucky.
When you get around the midfield stripe, you want to look for some chunk opportunities. That's what Eddie Graham was trying to dial up. He had a good first down, giving him 2nd down and 5. Didn't make it that risky a play, but you got to trust your guys to make good decisions. That was a great job by Bowden, seeing his receiver covered and taking the ball under his arm, making it now 3rd and manageable.
That's the best possible outcome you could have had on that special play.
Looking, I think, 2 downs right here, Aaron.
No question, you're across the 50 and your offensive line's lathered up.
Wilson 3rd and 5. Flushed, rolling. Wilson in trouble. Back to the other side of the 50 and forget about 4th down now.
And guess who was there? The replacement of DeAndre Walker, this team's leading sacker, true freshman Brenton Cox. He's a playmaker, and he was the one that ended up getting down the athletic Terry Wilson.
Medical staff has been busy early on. The center, Lamont Gilliard, he has emerged from the medical tent after limping off on their first offensive series. His left knee heavily taped up. He is limping. His return right now is questionable. His backup is true freshman Trey Hill. As for DeAndre Walker, he is in the locker room right now getting attended to. He had a huge gash on his left shin.
Oh my gosh, a triage unit for the Bulldogs up front. They keep losing really good players. Gilliard, their most experienced.
So Hill, the freshman, snaps it to Fromm, gives it to Swift. We have 3rd and short. Let's take a look at Rick's report on Jake Fromm. On 3rd and 1. Swift, right side, and the Cats get the stop. It is Taylor again. Calvin Taylor Jr., the 6'9" defensive end with a couple of key stops.
This big physical Kentucky defensive line just overpowers the left side of the Bulldogs up front.
This is where you ask if that was a predetermined give, because had Fromm kept the ball there, he would have walked for a 1st down.
He never keeps the ball. They are looking like they're predetermined, but he will keep it from time to time.
Marta hits it at the 12. Bouvier backing up, fair catch signal. He will have it inside the 25. So finally that vaunted Wildcat D shows up to get a stop in a 7-0 ball game.
Well, Matt House, the defensive coordinator, brings the house by bringing Jamar Watson off the outside edge. But look where Watson's eyes are. All Jake Fromm has to do is keep that ball, and he's going to run to pay dirt. That's something that they're going to notice upstairs, Rick, and the Bulldogs can take advantage of.
If it wasn't a zone read that time, it will be somewhere down the road, because those eyes upstairs, Jim Chaney's been around this game far too long not to take advantage of that opportunity down the road.
First 2 possessions, punt and a punt. They ended up a 1st down on the first play of the game, then 3 plays and out. And Terry Wilson is a perfect 4 for 4, 20 passing yards. He's going to hand off to Benny Snell Jr. Waits for the hole to open, gets it across the 30, and DeAndre Baker comes up to make the tackle.
Kentucky averaging 6.7 yards per 1st down rush.
And after 8 on this one, Wilson out of the gun. Give it to Snell again on the read, but nothing much doing there. And that's Robert Beal, the redshirt freshman from Lawrenceville, Georgia. The youth leading the way in the linebacking core for the Dogs.
Once again, Robert Beal is one of the jack linebackers, just going to come from this backside squeezes, but then just uses his acceleration. There's another example where maybe Terry Wilson could have kept it, because Beal crashed on that outside and took the dive away pretty quickly.
3rd and short. Georgia almost jumped. Snell straight ahead, pushing 2nd effort. He appears.
I think he got it.
Yeah, Beal in there on the stop, but that's the tough yard that Kentucky didn't get last week against Missouri. Had to have the miraculous comeback untimed down touchdown to win it to set this matchup up. Here. Snubbed by Ohio State, told the Washington Post, "I'll forever have that chip on my shoulder." The native of Westerville, Ohio. And this is Hughes across the 40-yard line. Hughes still inbounds. Finally written out by Monty Rice. Wilson is 5 for 5. Sophomore quarterback from Oklahoma City. Wilson dropping, heavy pressure. Hit as he throws. Wilson deep shot, it's incomplete. Intended for Bowden. Julian Rochester blew it up and forced Wilson to release it just a beat early.
Fantastic play by Rochester because just as you said, Carter, if he could hold that just a fraction of a second longer, he draws a bead and hits that pass, and that would have been a huge chunk play, putting the Cats down inside the 20-yard line.
What freed Rochester up was a simple twist or an exchange of assignments where Rochester went around and the offensive line that's been pretty good in pass protection broke down. Here we are in the 3rd and long. I think screen draw delay here.
Wilson after his first incompletion to the air again, incomplete. And here comes a flag. Fight for the football. Tyson Campbell in coverage. And Ahmad Wagner, the former Iowa basketball player, that's the 2nd time he's ever been targeted as a Kentucky Wildcat. First in the end zone last week.
Defense.
Eddie Grand couldn't help.
15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Couldn't help but smile in talking about Ahmad Wagner and getting him involved in the offense. As you just mentioned, a basketball player, great body control. They tried to throw him a fade late in the Missouri game last week. It ended up being the pass interference, the controversial pass interference call at the end of the game. But Wagner has the ability, with his size and his body control, go up and make those kind of plays.
So they haven't hit the big chunk plays through the air, other than the 11-yard gain first play, but you get 15 here. And now Wilson, here's your screen. AT that you were looking for. Apparently the Dogs, they think they have the football. Georgia.
Ball's out.
Awaiting the official signal. There's a flag involved too. Hubert Owens and his crew trying to sort through this one to see if the Dogs in fact have come away with a fumble recovery.
Ruling on the field was a fumble by Kentucky, recovered by Georgia. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 71 on the offense, 15-yard penalty. That's number 71's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul.
AT, that's a huge double whammy for Kentucky. The fumble and then Stenberg, and you've been pointing this out for a while now.
He's a consistent, nasty player, but it adds insult to injury. Not only do you turn the football over, but then you tack on 15 yards to an offense that doesn't need any additional help. And how about Tyson Campbell had the pass interference penalty, comes back up there huge.
Kentucky got the stop on 3rd and short, last Georgia possession. Forced the 3 and out. Now the Dogs on the plus side of the 53rd and 4. From the throw again. Guess who again? Holloman. 3 targets, 2 catches, first down Georgia. Trey Hill still snapping it at center with Gilliard on the sideline. High snap, loose football, and Kentucky gets it back. Josh Allen with another fumble recovery for the Cats. The big-time playmaker from Montclair, New Jersey, gets it back for Kentucky.
Remember, we've got a freshman center in there. Lamont Gellert is on the sideline. Trey Hill, the true freshman, is at the center. You're going to get some of these mistakes, especially when the stakes are as high as they are today, fellas.
And Allen is so fast off that outside edge. Reads it right away, but that's the spark play that this Kentucky team needed.
So Hill, the freshman, is getting coached up right now by Lamont Gilliard, the senior, on the Georgia sideline. Cats turned it over on their last possession. Denny Snell Jr., another positive gain, 4 yards, led better, the stop on first down. Final minute of the first quarter, both teams have turned it over on their last drive. Wilson fakes the toss, keeps it, cuts inside. Little patient Snell-like for Terry Wilson, and he has a first down across the 45.
These are the legs of Terry Wilson that were so big in their historic win over Florida. Just a quarterback counter, that'll keep the defense honest, give them something to think about, but also get Wilson's athletic ability into this game plan. This offensive line has found something that it likes on the right side, and they are making some hay there, but they've got to get some big chunk plays. They can't keep nickel and diming this Georgia defense.
On first down, Snell, of course. Dogs converge, only a 1-yard gain. Tyreek McGee, the junior, comes up to make the stop in the waning seconds of the first quarter. So Georgia, the first team to march down on an opening drive and score against the Kentucky defense. That's the lone score of the first quarter. 7-0. Georgia on Kentucky in the first of our 2 top 10 matchups in the SEC. AT with DeAndre Walker back on the field.
Well, Georgia's already got a sack today, which is good news for them, and especially since DeAndre Walker is back. Georgia dead last in the SEC coming into today's game with 10 sacks allowed. But when you've got Benny Snell back there and a mobile quarterback, you can't get too far upfield.
Wilson on 3rd and 6. Sips it complete. Bowden has it. Bowden inside the 40-yard line. He stood up and driven back. J.R. Reed leads the charge, but Kentucky pushes inside the Bulldog 40. That's a gain of 11.
Benny Snell is excellent at
Give him a
being
miner
patient.
hat. The coal mines in Kentucky. This guy finds his way through.
I guarantee you Benny would have a colorful one, too. John has more on that later.
Press man coverage by Georgia this time.
3rd and 5, here's Wilson. Design run. Wilson finds the edge and dives for the first down. Richard LeCount had him lined up, and Terry Wilson won the one-on-one.
We talked about dual threat quarterback. This is where you use the young man's legs. Now this is designed to come back inside there, but he jumps outside using unbelievable ability. And remember, he's beating a secondary player. Richard LeCount could run too. Getting outside right there, making the first down, that's a huge play for the Cats.
That 4-4 speed kills, doesn't it, Rick?
I wonder what that would be like to run 4-4.
Oh, we may have some new eyes here. The Wildcat, and it's Snell. Snell. That did not fool the Dogs. They are ready. And stop on Snell. That's Tyler Clark, the junior, who makes the tackle at the line, maybe a little lost.
They have to be honest in their passing lanes, otherwise Wilson's legs get involved.
On 3rd and 7. Wilson in the pocket, dragging across. Bowden has the grab. Bowden inside the 15. Wilson delivers to Lynn Bowden Jr. First down, Kentucky.
I actually think the inaccuracy of that pass by Wilson allowed that play to be successful because Lynn Bowden had to turn around and come back on the football, which allowed him to be able to shake the defender.
Terry Wilson looks that way, and Wilson is driven down. The second sack of the game by the Georgia Bulldogs. Channing Tindall, the true freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, has his first sack as a Bulldog, and it comes on 3rd and 9.
And he runs over, flat out, Benny Snell, who the scouts tell me they really like his ability to protect the passer. Baker just in great coverage right there on Wagner. Wagner can go up and get it, but that is a fantastic stop by this Bulldog defense to force the field goal.
Chance Poor hit a 31-yarder at Missouri. This one is good to put Kentucky on the board, but it's Georgia with another sack, and the Bulldogs hang on to the lead, 7-3.
16 minutes to 5 minutes for Georgia. 32 plays Kentucky's run to Georgia's only 13. It serves a good job to underscore Rick's point that Georgia has to have success here to help their defense out.
5-yard gain on first down helps. Holyfield gets nothing on second down. That's Cash Daniel with a big old club on the left hand to junior from Paintsville, Kentucky, on Paint Creek. Forces third down.
He's just a throwback, got that big cast. A linebacker has to be able to key and diagnose right away. Cash Daniel's not the most athletic player, but his instincts and football IQ are huge.
Oh, that's
got some hardware in there, doesn't he?
It actually required him to learn different fundamentals about how to spill blocks, because usually you use your hands. He had to actually learn other ways to get it done.
On 3rd and 5. Out of the shotgun. So here's the snap. Handled by Fromm. Draw. Swift. makes the first cat miss, and DeAndre Swift has enough to move the chains for Georgia. Mike Edwards finally makes the stop.
This is one of Chaney's go-to play calls, and DeAndre Swift is aptly named. Watch the way he's patient, and then boom, makes the best player on this Kentucky defense miss in space.
From Swift again, tough tackle, Devontae Robinson, the sophomore from Henry Clay High School here in Lexington. Building it back to this point, number 9 in the country, playing for an SEC East title. From zips it over the middle, it is caught. Ridley crosses the 50. Riley Ridley, leading receiver coming in for the Dogs.
Really nice protection that time by Georgia up front. He just catches Ridley coming in on a China route. The ball's a little bit low, but Ridley leads his team in touchdown receptions, comes up huge.
Swift bounces it outside, finds the edge. Swift shoving his way near the 40 before Chris Westry finally forces him out. Justin Fields is in at quarterback for Georgia. Didn't play at all against the Gators on 2nd and 4. Here is the highly touted freshman from Kennesaw, Georgia. He takes a big pop and gets a first down. Jordan Jones. Kirby Smart said yesterday, if we need a boost on offense, we'll play him. I'm rolling pretty good. Go to Fields anyway.
Nothing more than an outside zone there, but you get an extra blocker because you have to account for all the players on the field. It's going to be his first pass. I thought we were about to see his first pass as a Georgia Bulldog.
And then he is dropped for a short loss by Quinton Bohanna, who was out of the game for one play.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
And now Fields comes out from back in.
It's interesting, the management of Justin Fields, who is admittedly a little frustrated by not getting any role in that Florida game. You wonder if that's a little bit of bone that they're throwing him. There's no question he's got talent, but Jake Fromm, to the point we heard earlier, has played pretty well today. This is a critical 2nd and long situation. Expect
one-on-one opportunity down here at the bottom.
Fromm on 2nd and 11. Lets it rip the other way, and it's complete again to Jeremiah Holloman, his 3rd catch. Robinson on the stop.
Well, any questions you had about ball speed or arm strength with Jake Fromm were answered on that play. This thing whistled right over the interior receiver and the DB and was just a absolute shot to Holloman, who's now within 3rd and 2.
Holyfield with Fromm on 3rd and 2.
Comes pressure.
Fromm on the roll. Holloman has it. Drilled as he makes the grab, but he hangs on. And it is first down, Georgia, even with a tough tackle from Lonnie Johnson.
Fromm has been on fire today, extremely accurate, picking up where he left off a week ago. He finds his favorite target. The guy that was a playmaker a week ago that we highlighted at the beginning of the game, J.J. Holloman, so far today, boys, has been dynamite.
I see what you did there. You couldn't wait to do that.
Having some good times here in Lexington, Kentucky.
What you got, Red?
And a double.
Fake it, from, toss it, incomplete. I mean,
good decision.
Well overstated. You like that?
Good decision to throw it away. I mean, obviously what they had anticipated the coverage being was not available, so throw it away and live to play another day. That's the secret of Jake Fromm. That's why Jim Chaney trusts him. They've given him ability to tag things on the run. Again, the independence that he has this year as compared to his freshman season a year ago, which we all know ended up in Atlanta for the national championship, has been really a big step. And he's taken great chance of it. Got a fade opportunity down here to the bottom.
This corner's got to challenge these receivers.
Fromm hands off Holyfield, trying to find the edge inside the 10. Elijah Holyfield is pushed out by Westry, but a flag is down back at the line of scrimmage.
Throwing where you get holding.
Holding. Offense. Number 4. 2-yard penalty for the spot of the foul. 2nd down.
That's Mecole Hardman with a critical error inside the red zone, nullifying a huge play. We've already seen Kentucky jump off sides down in the red zone when they were on offense. And that negates a pretty dang good run, taking advantage of the bad angle by the safety, Mike Edwards.
We started the telecast by saying Georgia wide receivers love to block. He was locked on, thinking the ball was going to be inside of him, but he needed to let go when he saw that DB jumping outside.
Swift making catch miss. DeAndre Swift, touchdown, Georgia. What a run from DeAndre Swift.
You look out on this field right now, there is laundry left on the 22-yard line, literally and figuratively. This was a brilliant move by DeAndre Swift.
This is what this kid does. His ability to cut full speed, putting his foot into the ground without reducing his speed, could be unparalleled in college football. We saw it a week ago to ice the Florida game, and we just saw it here in the second quarter.
What a run from DeAndre Swift, 20 yards out. Touchdown, Georgia, 14-3. Third down for Kentucky. Snell still on the sideline. 2 timeouts for Georgia. Wilson draw. Wilson is wrestled down by Walker. Third down stop. There's Kirby Smart. Immediately gets the timeout called. 1 timeout, and you stop it with 1:31. That's 40 seconds safe.
It was a brilliant drive a week ago. He wants to put the keys back in Jake Fromm's hands.
Keep in mind that Georgia also gets the ball back to start the second half, so making this drive all the more important for the Wildcats.
Swift straight ahead. He had the 20-yard touchdown run last time he touched it. Nice gain on first down and gets out of bounds with 1:16. West pushes him out.
It's always fun to watch when everybody understands the situation. Swift knows, hey, look, I made some yards, but let me get to the sideline and get that clock stopped again.
You're thinking positive yardage, first down, preserving the clock. You cannot take a sack here. Georgia's tied for 4th in the SEC with 43 plays over 20 yards. At some point, they're going to have to take some deep shots against this very experienced secondary.
Nada is the target.
Fromm steps up. Nearly got that sack, AT, but Fromm rolls, gets the first down. Clock stops temporarily, 1:09, and now we'll check the flag.
Nice job defensively by Kentucky there. Fromm didn't have anywhere to throw the football.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 92. 15 yards added to the end of the run, first down.
And now you're about 25 yards away from field goal range with 1 timeout.
The clock will start on the ready, but Jake Fromm did a great job making the first down. Remember, in college football, the clock stops on first downs as they reset the chains.
I mean, now for Georgia, over a minute, you cross the 40. There's plenty of time.
You're in absolute control of the situation, meaning that you can take these underneath throws. That is it. Oh, they're going to wind it. The clock is going.
In bounds.
Dogs are on it, but you can take these underneath throws as you stay in rhythm, knowing all you have to do is get to the 33 for Rodrigo Blankenship.
Still not a huge mistake there, even though it didn't get out of bounds, but Cats keep him in. 2nd and 6. Fromm over the middle. Here's Swift across the 50. Swift, perfect. Gets out of bounds. Stop it at 35 seconds, first down.
He's such a weapon. When you can throw a short underneath pass to take advantage of the coverage that doesn't want to get beat over the top and pick up that many extra yards, again, making sure he knows the situation and smartly gets himself out of bounds.
Kentucky's defense, just 13 points per game allowed. Georgia has already outpaced that in the first, and now it's the Wildcats huffing and puffing as Georgia moves down the field at the end of the first half again.
This is as dejected as I've seen this defense, hands on the hips, but they got good pass rushers. Now the time to bring that out.
Fromm right on the edge of field goal range, just pitch and catch to the outside. Godwin, 32 seconds, plenty of time to play.
Switch the formation, put Nada to the field. Everybody's paying attention to 18 because of last week. Put Terry Godwin in the slot and hit him on the same route they hit Nada a week ago. So a little 5-6 yard out, and now they're in field goal range.
So what do you do with your shots at this point?
Now you can take a look down the field. A double move right here comes to mind. Opportunities to take a look, but you cannot take a sack.
Second down, check down, Swift. Another first down, gets out of bounds again, 27 seconds, calm and confident right now for the Dogs.
If you're Matt House, the defensive coordinator, you've got to resist the temptation to come after him. You've got to make sure you limit this to a field goal drive.
5 for 5 on this drive in front of the end zone. First incompletion. There's your first shot. Beatty in coverage, intended for Godwin. Second down. Here's the second shot, and it is incomplete. Overthrown, intended for Ridley. This time it's Beatty running step for step. Third down, 18 seconds.
You see Jake Fromm jumping up and down there. He wants that back. He wants that throwback. This is his bread and butter. He made a living as a freshman and also this year throwing into that boundary on fade throws. Riley Ridley gave him exactly what he wanted. He just overthrew it.
Ninth play of this brilliantly executed late first half drive by Georgia. Swift is in the backfield again with Jake Fromm.
Beatty's out and back up Chris Westry down here at the bottom of your screen on Ridley.
Loose football, and Kentucky is on top. The perfect drive ends in a fumble, and it's Josh Allen with his second fumble recovery of the game.
What a turn of events. That was a risky call. There were 18 seconds left on third down. You were going to have to run your field goal team in and get that kickoff on a running clock. That's about the limit, Aaron, 18 seconds. That was going to take every ounce of coaching that Georgia had done to practice that situation.
And another costly turnover in the exchange. That's just simple execution. On the mesh, we saw a bad snap earlier by backup center Trey Hill. Georgia shooting itself in the foot, and that's exactly the break that the Wildcats needed.
15 seconds in, Kentucky just hands it off. All right, let's get to the locker room now if you're Kentucky. So Georgia rolling, looking like they are going to put more points on the board, but the second takeaway by the Kentucky D, Josh Allen, has kept Kentucky in it. 14-3 at the half. For John Trippen's halftime interview with Coach Smart, go to Twitter at SEC on CBS. Now let's go to Adam Zucker in our New York studio. A reminder that the Wildcats have never been to the SEC championship game. Their last outright title was in 1950 when Bear Bryant was the head coach. 76 officially they tied for the SEC title, but that's a long story, and we'll just let you figure that one out on your own, because 76 was indeed wacky. So Georgia won the toss, deferred. So the Dogs have it to begin the second half. It will be Harrion right at the goal line, across the 20 and shoved out. Let's check in with John Trippen. From 2nd and 8, heavy pressure, flings it complete. On the edge, Ridley slips away. Ridley across the 40-yard line. Riley Ridley gets the Dogs rolling to begin the second half. Edwards finally pushes him out. From, gonna hand off Holyfield. Huge on the left side. Holyfield, I mean, it was wide open once Holyfield beat Chris Westry to the edge.
There's Westry again, coming off the edge and breaking down contain. That's what DeAndre Swift can do. We talked about it right at the top of the half. The entire defense breaks down. He's the last line of defense. He just gets out-athleted.
A 30-yard run. That's the biggest offensive play of the day for Georgia. From under center, DeAndre Swift.
Great tackle.
Driven down, Darius West, the senior free safety with Jordan Jones. There is a flag down.
It's an interesting decision if this turns out to be holding, which I believe it will be, as to whether you back them up. You've got 3rd and 8, or do you back them up and take them maybe out of field goal range? I think you probably take this penalty.
Personal foul, targeting, defense, number 25. Contact with the crown of the helmet. 15-yard penalty. The previous play is under further review.
Darius West called for targeting at the end of the play. So Jones has him wrapped up. Here comes West.
Yep. Darius West is their leading tackler. We featured him in the opening lineups, but he hits him with the crown of the helmet in the head or neck area. It's a direct blow that checks both boxes of the criteria for targeting. West is going to get thrown out of this game, and he is one of those two physical safeties that has proven an ability to help them tackling on the back end.
A ball carrier is not a defenseless player, but when you hit him with the crown of your helmet and duck your head, trying to protect both players, right? The striker in this particular case, the defender, putting his head down puts him at risk as well.
Forcible contact that goes beyond making a legal tackle is the rule book wording on that. So West is gone. Senior free safety out of the ball game. And on 1st and 10, here goes Holyfield inside the 10. I'll show you that targeting one more time.
You see Jordan Jones right there getting the tackle. It's the dropping of the head at the last moment and then throwing up of the elbow for good measure that has...
The teaching point is you have to see what you're hitting. You cannot duck your head. See what you're hitting. It keeps everybody safer.
It's the old spearing rule that we grew up with in football, one of the two criteria. Big loss for the Wildcats. To see Georgia's trying to hurry up back to the line of scrimmage. Again, they struggled down here a week ago against Florida. They'd love nothing more than to run this football and pick up the first down or get in the end zone.
There's the zone read.
Pull it. He's got the first down short of the goal line, but Fromm has the first down to make it 1st and goal.
We talked about that early in the game, that the eyes in the sky, Jim Chaney and his staff would be seeing that and use it at their disposal. Here's exactly what we're seeing. You're going to see this edge defender come down. Fromm's eyes are riveted on him, and around he goes with the ability to make the first down.
Got two Wildcat defenders on that one. It took them 2 quarters to come back to it, but we alluded to it early on in the first quarter. A huge pickup in the first down to get inside the 5-yard line for the Bulldogs.
Georgia down near the goal line, 1st and goal from the 4. Is Fromm out of the shotgun. Holyfield has it. Holyfield pushes, stretches. He is in. Touchdown, Georgia.
This is just bull elk on bull elk. He is absolutely just going to carry Cash Daniel into the end zone. That is powerful, powerful stuff. As well as get this crowd back into the game, they're trying to manufacture something. That just was ill-advised there.
So essentially a sack out of the grounding, and Wilson will throw that. Snell, no room in the open field as the Dogs converge, led by Monty Rice, the sophomore from Madison, Alabama.
See if they can muster up this first down.
Wilson forced into 3rd and long, 3rd and 12. Great grab by Bowden, but he's well short. Only at the 30, needed 5 more yards. McGee makes sure that it's 4th down, and the Cats have no choice but to punt it away. AT, you said it was the critical drive of the season for Kentucky to get back in the game. They elect to throw it on 1st down. Intentional grounding, 3 and out. Rest at this point for Holyfield and Swift. You add into these touch numbers 3 catches for DeAndre Swift as well.
Well, these two bring so much to the table. Elijah Holyfield, more the power runner, showing some patience, a lot like Benny Snell, but it's DeAndre Swift's speed both in the run and pass game. In the perimeter, he was virtually uncoverable early on in the first half here. Expect him to start to get some touches to get that speed on the edge.
So the offensive touches are even, and now DeAndre Swift breaks it again all the way for the sophomore from Philly. DeAndre Swift, 84 yards, touchdown, Georgia.
Swift says it all.
Certainly got the right last name, doesn't he?
Oh my.
So I was talking about that drive before. This one was so important because Georgia is gashing this Kentucky Wildcat defense that had been really stout against the run, but this banged up offensive line for the Bulldogs is showing up in a big, big way.
Georgia on the huge run from Swift, up 28-3 with an eye on Atlanta again and beyond. DeAndre Swift has him singing, "All hail the dear old Georgia."
Look at that. Kentucky averaging 214 yards per game, fourth in the conference. Only 68 today against this banged-up Bulldog defense.
Kentucky forced into throwing, their last in the SEC passing yards a game. Wilson eludes the first man, and now Wilson goes on the roll. And a missed opportunity by Tay Crowder in the backfield. Had Wilson lined up. Terry able to escape.
That's what Terry Wilson can do. In the Florida game earlier in the year, he had 70 yards rushing on scramble plays alone. He had 105 in the game, but 70 of them were unscripted, where the coaches are in the box saying, no, great play.
You sound like you've been
Guilty
there,
of that many times.
No, yes.
No, yes. This Georgia defense does a great job of disguising coverages. Terry Wilson has to make good decisions to protect this football.
Wilson 2nd and 4. Wanted to get it to Snell, and now Wilson making a good decision, protecting the football, getting a first down, and getting out of bounds. This time Herring and Davis had a chance, couldn't bring him down.
When you run man coverage, go ahead and roll it, guys. The defense turns its back to the line of scrimmage. Nobody's paying attention. Freeze it. Everybody's in man coverage. Connected. That leaves Terry Wilson's route to be able to pick up the first down wide open. Good job taking advantage of the tight coverage by the Bulldogs there.
Just across the 50. Wilson. Yes, you saw it coming. Natrez Patrick nearly got his hands on pick.
This was almost the play they called for the touchdown, and you can see a little bit of hesitation coming off the ball, but the ball has to be thrown on time. It's an anticipation throw, which by definition is a ball that's on its way. When the receiver looks for it, it's halfway there. That ball was late and almost a disaster.
And that's been one of the things that he struggled with, is anticipating and just letting the ball rip.
Confidence is key. Mark Stoops told us he's played the whole way. Gunnar Hope played a couple series last week. Nothing much doing for Snell on first down. He has been contained. Correction, on second down. Now we got third.
3rd and 10 here. Now, as a coordinator, you've got to decide, if I get 2 plays here, I can throw something underneath and get my 5 and 6 yards, or do I need to get all of it? That's the head coach's job, to let Eddie Gran know here what he's going to do with 4th and 5.
And here's Wagner up here at the top of the screen. He's a big target. Safety's on the hash.
On 3rd and 9, pressure picked up. Wilson releases. Pass interference coming on DeAndre Baker. And locked up with Wagner. Aaron, just what you saw.
Yeah, we talked about that matchup. We saw it early in the game.
Defense, number 18, 15-yard penalty.
This is such a hard job for the defender, because you're trying to do everything right, and you're trying to have the same right to the football that the offensive player does, but hands almost always go the way of the defender.
And I see why Kirby Smart is upset. It looked like Wagner was the one that pulled DeAndre Baker down. I think looking at that again, that was pretty clean coverage.
That's what I just said. It almost always goes against the defender.
It's Wagner right there with that right hand on that shoulder pad cap, and that's what's got Kirby Smart so frustrated, and he's right.
Wilson to the outside, that's Bowden. Blockers, Bowden inside the 20, inside the 15. Say this about Wagner, he doesn't have a catch yet, but he's drawn 2 big flags. One in Columbia, one here on DeAndre Baker.
And Rick, I'm not surprised to see Lynn Bowden get back into this football game. He was such a playmaker. He's a guy that can give him a spark. We saw what he was able to do on the punt return. Give him the football in space and let him make plays against this athletic defense like he just did there.
Nearly the first explosive play, explosive defined by 20 yards or more.
Wilson 1st and 10, fake to Snell, keep it, ridden down just inside the 10. Richard LeCount makes the stop.
Down here in the red zone, a quarterback's legs can be deadly. That's the fake toss back to the quarterback power. With the counter up inside, that right side of the offensive line had some really good success, but Georgia making some adjustments defensively and basically just winning their one-on-one matchups. This second medium call, the call sheet is wide open. Play action down here with a tall wide receiver group could be effective.
And barring a huge negative play, this is 4-down territory. You have to get a touchdown here to get back, give yourself hope to get back in the game.
Best drive since our only scoring drive in the second quarter. Snell will take it across the goal line. Touchdown, Kentucky at last.
A brilliant drive. When you had to have it, they came up with it. And their alpha dog, Benny Snell, finishes it off.
That's the drive that they needed with another penalty with jaw-jacking.
Here comes another flag, like you said, and
If it's 71 second, he'll be ejected.
Don't believe it is.
Lynn Stenberg, he already had one for this.
After the play, a sportsmanlike conduct foul, number 65, grabbing an official. Number 65 is disqualified. 15-yard penalty is being forced on the kickoff.
That's Bunchy Stallings, an all-SEC
they got to get him out of there.
player of the week, and he's still jacking. This is the inexperience of this moment that is too big for these players. You want to have a physical identity and have some physicality to you, but Bunchy Stallings just made an extremely selfish decision that hurt this ball club.
So West at safety has been ejected for targeting, and now Bunchy Stallings for grabbing an official. He's been ejected on offense for Kentucky, and just when the Cats were ready to celebrate, finally getting in the end zone, and Snell getting 1,000 yards. Stallings is booted, and you look up at the scoreboard and say, hey, we got 7. But we still trail in this game by 18 points, and it is getting late in Lexington.
Some new faces, I think. It's Kendall Baker is going to be the replacement.
And Justin Fields is in at quarterback on 2nd and 8. So Baker in at right guard, handing off Holyfield, right side. Holyfield near the 45, easily picking up a first down.
And how about that? Jim Chaney putting in the backup quarterback and running to the right side where you just lost your starting right guard. Talk about having continuity up front. This offensive line is the bread and butter. The identity of this team is to be physical in the trenches. And Georgia doing a masterful job against one of the better defenses in the entire country this afternoon.
Empty formation here. Look for Fields to take off.
Watch his legs.
Sure enough, Fields, he slips and then slips through. And takes a pop. That was close, really close to late. Coming from Carter. And talking about that Georgia offensive line, you also factor in Andrew Thomas, had the left ankle versus South Carolina, and the right ankle versus Florida, so they've had to shift. Cleveland's just coming back. Gilliard's gone down. That's led to Hill playing at center. 2 turnovers on awkward snaps. Mays is down. And yet, through it all, Georgia's rolling up near 300 yards at the end of the third quarter.
Against the number 1 scoring defense in the country.
Holyfield, cut back, 2nd and 2. Easily first down, shoved out. The Dogs just keep on running against the Cats.
Somewhere this spring, this film's going to be on in high schools across the country teaching crack replace principles. Wide receivers coming in to block safeties, corners have to be in position to replace the safety as a tackler. They have not done so nearly well enough today, and that's the reason Georgia is having their way. And it goes back to their wide receivers being absolutely into the blocking piece of this offense.
And that was Tyler Simmons, and that's the expectation in that room. A bar raised by Ridley and Holloman.
Those numbers against the Cats easily the season high. Harian wrestled down this time, and that was Devontae Robinson with a nice tackle.
These are the type of ball games when you're on the road. We're at the tail end of the third quarter. They may get one more playoff, but Georgia's now going to start to go into a little bit of ball control
Absolutely.
mode.
I was just going to say it. This is where Kirby whispers to Jim Chaney, hey, don't want you to take the foot off the gas pedal, but we can take a little bit more time between plays.
So they will take it down inside of 10 seconds before they snap it. Fromm goes under center. 2nd and 5. Fake it to Harian. Fromm on the roll. That's complete. On the edge and lost out of bounds, but it was out of bounds. Godwin makes the grab. He's short of the first down. Kentucky had allowed only 6 rushing touchdowns on the season through 8 games. Through 3 quarters, Georgia has 3 rushing touchdowns. Tack on a passing touchdown by Jake Fromm, and despite the TD for Kentucky here in the 3rd, we go to the 4th quarter. Georgia is closing in on another trip to the SEC championship game. Headed to the 4th, 28-10, Dogs. So we begin the 4th quarter, 3rd and 1, Justin Fields, and a quarterback for the Bulldogs. Fields on 3rd and 1, good block, has the first down inside the 15-yard line.
Kentucky went to 0 coverage, which is the most you can do, the most you can sell out to stop that play, but because your running back is also your quarterback, you still have a hat for a hat.
Yikes.
It's a great job by Tyler Simmons just holding position on the sideline there and making a secure catch.
But Fromm wanted to go backside, took a peek, and said, let me just come front
It
side.
was designed to throw a throwback. It wasn't there. That's the experience factor of Jake Fromm.
Excellent job.
And yet he's only a sophomore. Swift shaking his way inside the 5. Edwards makes the stop. Close to 1st and goal. We will see.
Size of Georgia just wearing down this Kentucky front.
Watch these combination blocks backside, just getting up to that 2nd level. I mean, you can't block it any better than that. You see Kendall Baker, the senior who's put his time in, played some left tackle a week ago, went down in the game. Now he's playing right guard, making huge blocks.
1st and goal. Dogs. Swift just short. Georgia has been perfect in the red zone. Bohanna and Jordan Jones on the stop, 2nd and goal.
You go back to when Kirby Smart got the job at Georgia. One of his first hires was Jim Chaney, and his 2nd hire was get Jim Chaney to go to Arkansas and get Sam Pittman, the offensive line coach. Brett Bielema was sick about it, but Sam Pittman has had a real impact on this program.
2nd and goal. Swift stood up, driven back. So we got 3rd and goal coming.
Well, here we are on the goal line again. I think Georgia wants to get that taste out of its mouth. 7 plays. They got stopped down here on one of the most impressive goal line stands by Florida's defense. Make no mistake about it. This is important not only to this game, but to their pride.
On 3rd and goal, Fromm looking for the sneak, and he is short. It will be 4th and goal for the Dogs again. This is looking like Jacksonville all over again.
What to do, what to do.
I think Kirby Smart, well, I tell you what he's going to do. He's sending his kicking team. Get that 21-point lead.
I hate it. Come on, Kirby.
He doesn't
What
like
are
it
you
either.
doing?
He's angry again.
That's the worst thing you can do with an offensive line. These guys have been lathered up. It was a sneak. Let them come off the ball and bow their back. They've been doing a good job all game long. You understand the call, but it's decisions like this that
like
offend.
a true O-lineman. I'm going to speak like a head coach. He's doing the right thing here.
Oh my gosh, that is heartbreaking to the big dudes up front who have played extremely, extremely well here in this ball game.
Chip shot for Rodrigo Blankenship. Kentucky would need 3 touchdowns in 12-15.
Man, hand the ball to DeAndre Swift. They ain't been able to tackle him yet. All right, I'm gonna let it go.
It's nice here.
Flag down.
False start. Offense. Number 69.
Aaron, I can tell you exactly what Kirby Smart's telling his offensive linemen. How many chances do you need? It will be a focus of practice. Auburn lies ahead, but they have to get these 3 points and make it a 21-point lead.
Kirby's saying, man, that's really frustrating to me.
Lip reading by Aaron Taylor. Lip reading and editing by Aaron Taylor. So making a 23-yard field goal for Rodrigo. The field goal is good. So, Georgia at the goal line. The discussion continues between Jim Chaney, Kirby Smart, Mark Stoops. Happy they held the 3. Cats a glimmer of hope at 31-10.
Missouri in the swamp. Drew Lock 0-9 all time against ranked teams, but throws his second touchdown of the day to Cam Scott. It is 28-10 right now. Tigers on top midway through the third quarter. Back to you.
What a huge bounce-back game for Drew Lock in Missouri, who didn't have a first down in the second half against the Cats. Wilson lines up on 2nd and 10. Complete. First down, Kentucky. Richardson on the ground.
It's called a snag pattern. You have the outside receiver come inside, just sit down. You have a flat off it and a corner behind it. You just read off the squeeze. Wilson does a nice job of taking the snag.
That's only Richardson's 5th catch of the year, and what you like about that
feel
route,
some measure of hurry up, don't you, Aaron?
that's what he seemed to do really well with in the last week against Missouri. Probably his best drive of the season throwing the football.
The outside across the 50, first down. That's Richardson again. It's you said he just had his 5th catch, now it's 6.
Well, he's somebody that they've wanted to get involved in the offense, but it really seemed like Wilson was locked into Bowden. Dorian Baker's also somebody that has some explosivity to him. These guys have to find a way to push the football down the field. This is an extremely good secondary by Georgia. This little dink and dunks aren't going to make up this 3-touchdown lead that the Bulldogs have.
And you know Mel Tucker knows that too.
Here's the snag again.
And Wilson sacked. Loose football, but he was down.
Monty Rice.
Yep, Monty Rice gets the sack.
I asked Mel Tucker this week, is Monty Rice the next Roquan Smith? Obviously the great linebacker who left a year ago to join the Chicago Bears as a top 10 pick. He says, I don't want to put that on him, but if you're asking if he's real good, he's real good.
It's just great scheme right there. It was full slide protection, meaning everybody's going to their left on the offensive line. Nobody's there to pick up Rice, and that's their 3rd sack of the day. 4th. Georgia came into this game with only 10 and were dead last in the SEC. They've been balling out.
So Wilson 2nd and 23 to the outside. That is complete.
What a great throw.
Yep.
What a great throw. When you can throw from the middle of the field or even closer to the far hash and hit something on the sideline, 15, 20 yards down the field, that's called NFL caliber arm strength.
And I like what I'm seeing out of Terry Wilson. We enjoyed our conversation with him. He's a young kid, but his future is extremely bright.
On 3rd and 5, where he's been perfect. Stands in the pocket, delivers. Good patience. Finds A.J. Rose for a first down to near the 30.
Great job of getting all the way through his read.
It was his 3rd backside read, something that offensive coordinator Eddie Gran told us they weren't going to let him do.
Got a wheel route.
After all, Rose somehow holds it in. Rose goes rolling. He is in. Touchdown. A.J. Rose with the juggling TD catch and run for the Cats.
This ball should have been a back shoulder, but it bounces off the defender's back shoulder back into his hands. Sometimes luck is a wonderful thing.
Yes, it is. And A.J. Rose, the backup running back for Benny Snell, gets his hand out there, but just missed that time by Tay Crowder. And just drags defenders. What a heads-up smart play. It's been a special season for Kentucky, and that could be the play that starts to close this gap to get them back into this ball game. Wildcats still showing some life. Gotta love it.
All right, Rick, what are you thinking here as far as clock management timeouts?
You're breaking up the final 9 minutes if you're Mark Stoops. You're saying, I need the ball back by 6, which means I may tell Mark House to take some chances he might otherwise not take as a defensive coordinator.
Holyfield, left side, pushes across the 30. That banged up Georgia offensive line still pushing the Cats. Still pushing them around. Kentucky trying to pull off an epic comeback.
Tackling been a problem for Kentucky defensively, and they need to get this ball back. Sometimes when people try to get the ball back, they compromise their tackling skills by trying to get a strip. With the speed that these backs have, I think it's more important for Kentucky to be sure tacklers than to try to rip the ball out.
Clock rolling. Inside kick. That's Stanley, and Stanley across the 50. Stanley goes sprinting. The senior special team star out of the injury timeout. Chaney gets it right to Jason Stanley.
Kentucky trying to clamp down on those gaps, keep those little 4- and 5-yard carries from happening. Jim Chaney says, I'll just run around him. Fly sweep, and Stanley does the rest.
And Jordan Jones, the middle linebacker, was peeking inside, took himself out of position, and there was no second level help. Thankfully, Mike Edwards got there. after the speedy Stanley.
That flag was a sideline warning. It's a 34-yard gain for Jason Stanley. And dejected Kentucky fans, you're hoping to get a quick 3 and out, get the football back with that, as you said, 6 minutes. Well, we're now under 7, Rick.
You want to be successful to be able to try and force Georgia behind the chains, but they just haven't done it.
There's a play action. They will put it in the air from end zone, tipped, incomplete, stopping it at 5:55, and Mike Edwards has saved the Kentucky chances for now.
You love the aggressive nature of Georgia's play call there. Jim Chaney and Kirby Smart saying, let's take a shot. But the clock now stops, and you're 2 scores ahead, and you've kept Ricardo Blankenship with not anything what we'd call a chip shot.
Kentucky needs a stop, maybe a timeout.
Recall, here's Justin Fields at quarterback. Is this the down you let him throw his first collegiate pass? Unlikely.
Doubtful. They brought him in because of his legs and his ability to create on the ground.
They anticipated zero coverage. You're getting quarters look right here.
Lots of bodies near the line of scrimmage.
Now Fields 3rd and 9, picking his way across the left side. Fields pushing real close on this spot. Fields stretches the football out.
I think he got it.
He did get it. Move the chains. First down. Georgia. Clock rolling. 5:43.
Great job.
Anticipating zero coverage, they went to a formation that allowed them to get a hat for a hat, Aaron.
And some great blocking up front. Isaac Nada came across in motion, kicked out the end, which created the seam.
Eventually into the boundary, but I think they have such trust in Rodrigo Blankenship. I think you look for a ball that's going to center this in the center of the field.
From the quarterback, Holyfield in the backfield. Pressure coming from the Cats. Holyfield, left side. Nothing there, but now you're looking at
There's your timeout.
Timeout number 1 used by Mark Stoops. Stops at 3:34. About a 38-yard field goal coming for Rodrigo Blankenship. Try and send the Dogs back to the SEC Championship game. Rodrigo Blankenship, 2016 here, at a game-winning 25-yard field goal as a freshman. He went 4 for 4 in that game, and now a 38-yard field goal to make this a 3-score game. And all but ice it for the Dogs and send them to 8-1 and on to Atlanta again.
Ahmad Wagner standing up there. But just look back at the goalpost right there in the middle. The big, tall wide receiver trying to get the block.
Hardest hole. Rodrigo Blankenship's kick is good. 34-17, 3 minutes, 32 seconds left in the 4th. Jake Fromm beginning to lead. A Georgia celebration closing in on the SEC East Division title. Playing consistently against the winner of the West. This was a must-win game, and they needed to do it Georgia's way, and dare I say, mission accomplished.
They certainly had. They controlled the lines of scrimmage on both sides of the football, and these young players, especially on defense, really showing up.
Wilson tosses across the 50. That's Rose again.
It's a long shot, but you need to take shots down the field.
Wilson. Pop it out of bounds. That's Conrad.
Oklahoma and Washington State, in my mind, don't control their own destiny.
Wilson pumps. Wilson Chase got a minute 45 as Wilson goes running. It all looks good for Wilson and the Cats. Only problem is you're down 34-17. The SEC title and then beyond. Where does this Georgia team fit into the national championship picture at this point?
If they can run the ball like they ran the ball today.
Loose football, and that will do it. The Dogs put an exclamation point on a dominant performance in Lexington, Kentucky.
Absolutely beautiful effort on both sides of the line of scrimmage by Georgia. And that was considered to be the strength of Kentucky coming into the game.
It was a strength-on-strength matchup that Georgia won. This defense that has been down and battered and doesn't have a whole lot of depth. All the leadership that left a year ago rose to the occasion on the road and out-big back an extremely physical offensive and defensive line. We talked about Georgia and their run to see if this was a dynasty in the making. This was a must-win for them, and guess what, fellas? They stepped up and rose to the challenge. This Georgia team is for real.
And where they fit in, Rick, with the national championship picture?
Well, the number one issue for Kirby Smart is how quickly can that offensive line get healthy.
Yep.
If they can put together, obviously the results today were off the charts, but if they can get healthy in the offensive front so that they can do battle with an LSU, should it come down to that, if they can do battle with an Alabama, should it come down to the bat, it will be a huge shot in the arm for this particular team because they have the weapons. They have the weapons, and these young kids on defense have absolutely stepped up.
That to me is really the story. And this offensive line that is battered and had two starters went down, just rushed for 332 yards on one of the nation's best defenses. Even banged up, this Georgia team found a way to get it done up front. Sam Pittman, the offensive line coach, should be commended.
Think about this freshman infusion on defense. Jordan Davis played in the defensive trenches. Brenton Cox, Tyson Campbell, Devontae Wyatt, Adam Anderson, Channing Tindall, Otis Reese. All of those true freshmen played a part in today's game and will continue to play bigger roles as the Bulldog season continues.
34-17, Georgia over Kentucky. Glory, glory, the Dogs will play for the SEC title again. A chance, a rare chance, to go back-to-back SEC champs. They win the East. They pushed around the 9th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. And so now it's official. Georgia, winners of the SEC East. Alabama has a chance to clinch the West tonight against the Tigers.
A hearty congratulations to the Bulldogs. They were challenged after the loss down in Baton Rouge. They came back, knocked off Florida and Jacksonville, and obviously a dominant performance here today in Lexington. They better be ready for Auburn. Auburn's going to feel good after that win today against Texas A&M.
And they certainly are, and they've got a defensive line that would love to take advantage of an offensive line that's a little banged up.
330 rushing yards in the game for Georgia. So our play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts, the longest of them all, DeAndre Swift's 83-yard touchdown run. 156 rushing yards on the day for Mr. Swift. Holyfield 115. They combined for 3 touchdowns. And Georgia runs away from Kentucky and on to Atlanta and beyond. 34-17, Georgia defeats Kentucky, and John Schrippen is with Kirby Smart. So you can hold that up high now, Elijah Holyfield. Adam BJ Houston Nutt get you caught up on a very busy day in the college football postgame show presented by Capital One. Back to Atlanta for Georgia and a chance to join this elite group. Teams who win the conference title back-to-back years. Georgia won it in 17, a chance to go back and win it again in 2018. Our final score, 34-17 Dogs. So for Rick Neuheisel, Aaron Taylor, and John Schriffen, I'm Carter Blackburn saying so long from Lexington. You've been watching the Home Depot SEC on CBS. We'll get you back to Adam Zucker and company for the college football postgame show presented by Capital One right after these messages.